Welcome, sir, or Gran Turismo 7 Specialtatin. Today we're featuring the same weekly race at Special Stage Route X, but this time I'm in my main alt account. As almost always, I'm in the Viper. It makes more sense to even run it with my main alt account. Because it's US, and despite the original point of it in GT Sport to be kind of anonymous, people have kind of figured it out over the years. Whether by watching videos on the channel or just be racing or whatever. But frankly, that doesn't really matter as much for Route X because everybody kind of has to drive a little bit iffy if they're gonna win. That was a little bit iffy. There, not gonna lie. That wasn't necessarily driving iffy. That was just kind of a weird iffiness in general, but nonetheless not that big of a deal because as long as we stay in line here, there shouldn't really be all that much absolute chaos, should there? Sometimes all that much absolute chaos is good for ratings, but I mean, if y'all saw some videos on the channel, there actually is someone up there that caused, well, absolute chaos later on. But that was some races later, so at the time, not that big of a deal. But I mean, yeah, I can't remember this race specifically. I skimmed through it and I saw there was enough highlights for it to be worth. I probably did 8 or 9 races at Red X, so I'm not going to end up specialtating all of them. But this is one of the better ones. I don't know exactly how many I will specialtate, but this should well get to the better turn 1, I guess now. Yeah, I guess that's better cinematically. I don't know about my position. In terms of the cars, I mean, yeah, like I said before, the Viper is still pretty bad. It's not as bad as this last iteration of this race, but I mean, you can see it there. The RX-7s are just outright leaving me. But if I can get the draft perfectly, and quite a few people up ahead battle, that should be alright. But look who I'm going to end up having to get the draft from. I will say this as well, as even before anything happened directly between us two, the username is still a little bit iffy, so there's that to be considered. But I mean, we should be mutually wanting to move up the pack at this point. That's what it's looking like, so no complaints currently. I'll put it like that, no complaints currently. I would rather the Pagani kind of get in the draft line with us, but not that big of a deal because it just skipped forward, not through my editing, but the PlayStation rip capture thing, and lo and behold, now it's sort of kind of getting in line, so that worked out a bit. Big line here, a little bit up front, not as in line, but not that big of a deal. In the grand scheme of things, and there it goes. Yeah, well, whatever, as long as I can get in the faster line, then that works for me, and maybe not, I don't know. Maybe some cars have already used their nitro. I've not used any yet, so that's also something to consider. Of course, the individual player does not know how much nitro the rest of the people use. It's kind of just by assumption of moves being made and such, kind of judged by how fast the car is going versus how fast it could go, like with nitro and stuff. Like that Mazda probably using nitro. Of course, now is the time when to start using it, but if people started to use it a little bit before, they're probably going to run out. So that's something to remember. Maybe if I can catch up to that white Mazda, then maybe I might be able to pass it because I might run out of nitro. In terms of everyone else, though, well, I'd like to pass everyone else if I can. Looks like I'm going to pass the red Mazda pretty easily. It's like the leaders are way gone in a half. I don't even know what they did. Usually that doesn't happen at this track, but yeah, lo and behold, Mazda there. Of course, I still have to look in the rear a little bit because some cars are going to be a little bit faster, especially with the draft. But luckily I looked ahead, luckily the ghosting worked, so that worked well enough. The leaders were gone in a half right yonder, but nonetheless, 3rd place in this car and the first of this pack. Can't really complain. Yeehaw!